And we're looking this time at Revelation 13. And this is number 9 in the series on Revelation, Satan and his two allies. And of course, that's referring to the two beasts, the beast from the sea and the beast from the earth. There in Revelation 13, as I say, the dragon stood on the seashore. Then I saw a beast rising out of the sea. He had 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 small crowns on his horns, and had blasphemous names on his heads, and so on. But the really important thing to notice in this description is this. Verse 3, the whole world was filled with wonder at the beast, and they worshipped the dragon because he had given his authority to the beast. And they worshipped the beast, asking, who is like the beast? Who could defeat him? And so on. This is all about worship, false worship of, I would say, the devil's picture of God. This is in contrast to the worship of the true God. In fact, all through the book of Revelation, it's all about who do you worship? Who do you love and admire? Who do you think truly is the supreme being? And the devil, the dragon, the beast, all are false images of what God really should be. They are misrepresentations, fakes, I could even say, of God. And then you have the second beast, verse 11, arising out of the earth. From the sea is from a place with many people, the earth from a place where there's not so many people, and you can do the prophetic interpretation for yourself. But I want to concentrate on the description of the spiritual aspects. Verse 11, second part. He had 2 horns like a lamb, but he spoke like a dragon. He imposed the same authority as the first beast on his behalf, and made the earth and those who lived there worship the first beast whose fatal wound had been healed. Again, it's all about worship, of being forced even to worship these beasts. And then you have, of course, the mark of the beast, and that's there in verse 15. He was permitted to breathe life into the image of the beast, so that he could speak, ordering anyone who did not worship to be put to death. Forced worship under the threat of death, the death penalty if you don't worship. You go right back to Daniel, that imposed worship of the image of Nebuchadnezzar and the 3 Hebrew worthies who said, no, we're not going to do it. We're not going to bow down and worship something like that. This is not what God is like. And even the threat of being burned to death in the furnace didn't faze them, because they trusted in the true God and they knew what he was really like. And there's an image for all of us. What is God really like, and who do we worship? You have the mark of the beast, as I say, mentioned there in verse 17, and we get a bit distracted by that and do all the calculations of 666 and so on. But it's all about thinking who God is. Wisdom is needed here, it says in verse 18, and that is absolutely true. While I certainly am happy to look at prophetic interpretation and examine it, I'm far more interested in understanding what this says about God and about the opponent, Satan and his 2 allies. How do we determine that? How do we understand what Satan is doing in our world? What are these beasts that are leading us to false worship? You look at the world today, secular, looking at all this humanistic philosophy. It's kind of self-worship at that point. But behind it all is another being who says, bow down and worship me, because I am like the Most High. I will make myself like this. I will take over this kind of power and use it for myself. This is the devil in the great controversy. So at this time when the leaves are fading, autumn is here, as we think of the decay of this world, let's remember it's God who makes all things new, and look forward to a time when Satan and his allies are vanquished forever, and we live at home with the Lord forever.